So today we're going to make a magic circle. These can be used for a few things. You can use them for granny squares, for making hats, for making stuffed animals, anything that is going to be a 3D circular object or anything that's going to be a flat shape. You can use this for usually. The way I'm going to show you is a basic, just how you do it. It might be a little different based on the pattern that you're using for how many stitches you put into the magic circle. But for most stuffed animals, you're going to be putting 6 in the circle, so that's what I'm going to show you. Now, first I'm going to show you the complete beginner way to make a circle. And this is actually not called a magic circle. This is chaining 2 and doing 6 single crochets in the first chain. And then I will show you how to do what is actually a magic circle. So this is the beginner, some people say the cheater way. For thinner yarns that are like size 4 and smaller, I don't like to use this, but I actually prefer this method for my chenille yarns. I think it just works better with them. But for the beginner way, you just chain 2, and then you are going to go in the very first chain you did, and you're going to do 6 single crochets in it. So you're always going into that same hole. Now, that's the end of my first row on it. If your hole's big, you can use this right here and get a needle, and you can stick it into the bottom of each stitch and then cinch it to close that hole more. Some people, when they go to the second row, when they're single crocheting, think that they need to do a slip stitch there and then go. But I don't do that because that slip stitch will create a seam. So once you're done with the first row, you can literally just start your second row in this first spot right here. So on most stuffed animals, you're going to do 6 on the first row, and then in the second row, I'm going to go straight into that first one, and I'm going to do 2. I'm not doing anything to connect the rows because with single crochets, they will automatically connect, and you can barely, you can't tell where the row ends and begins, which is great because then that means there's no seam. So, now I'm going to show you guys how to make an actual magic circle, which can be a little complicated, so I'm going to try to go slow and do it a couple times with you guys. To start, I lay my yarn with my tail towards me over 2 fingers, and I pinch it with my thumb, so I'm holding it like this. I'm going to take it and wrap it under my fingers, and I'm going to go over and make an X. So I'll show you that again. So I'm pinching with my tail towards me. I'm wrapping over, under, and then I'm making an X. So now what I'm going to do is the top right, I'm going to go under it. I'm going to grab the yarn on the top left and pull it under. So I'll show you that again. I have my X. I'm going to go under the top right, grab the top left of my X, pull it under, and then once I pull it under, I take my hook and I point it at me, and then I face it up. So once you've done that, you don't want to let go of this yarn yet, because what you need to do is grab your working yarn that's connected to your ball and do 1 chain. And now when I take my fingers out, this circle is going to stay there. So let's do it one more time. I'm pinching my yarn with my tail coming towards me. I go over my fingers, under them, and I come up and I make an X. I'm going to put my hook under the top right part of my X and hook onto the top left and pull it under. When I turn it, I turn towards me and up. And then I'm going to grab the working yarn and chain 1. Now I have this circle. So this is your magic circle. This is the part that is actually called a magic circle. So now what I'm going to do is do 6 single crochets into this magic circle, and when you do, go over both of these pieces of yarn. And I'll show you why in a second. But make sure to go on top of both of them the whole way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So once you have 6 single crochets, your hole is still big. Like, it's not a circle right now. You just have a line on this circle. So to make it into a circle, you're going to take your tail, and since you went over your tail, when you pull it, it'll cinch it closed for you. So now I just have this. And like I said, you don't need to do a slip stitch and chain or anything. When you're making this circle, you can literally just go into the first stitch and start your next row. So I hope that made sense for you guys. If it didn't, leave a comment and let me know what you don't understand, and I'll try to explain it my best. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It does take some getting used to. It will be hard at first. Go back, rewatch this video if you need to. But yeah, that is how you make a magic circle, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.